Oh, hello. Oh, just caught me warming my hands on the fire. Now, this time of year, normally you'll find me down there somewhere, talking from the lectern. I thought we'd do something different this year. So, it's a digital age. Let's try it by video, okay? Right. This is called The Peasant and the Page. And if everything's gone according to plan, you should have just sung the carol, Good King Wenceslas. Now, we haven't sung that carol probably in the last 20 years because, well, it doesn't really mention Jesus, which is quite important at this time of year and all year round. But Wenceslas, he was Wenceslas I, the Duke of Bohemia, in what is now the Czech Republic. And he reigned from 921 to 935 AD. Now, he's known for preserving and saving Christianity in Bohemia, and he's the patron saint of the Czech Republic. But what he's also known for are his acts of kindness. He was renowned for visiting local churches barefoot with just one servant and going to visit the poor, the destitute, the imprisoned, the sick, and taking them alms, taking them money, provisions, wood for the fire, that kind of thing. And so this carol, it's a legend, it's not true, but it's good because it tells us something of the message of Christmas. So, the story goes that on St. Stephen's Day, which is Boxing Day, Wenceslas looks out of his window and he sees this. There was a poor man scrabbling round in the icy cold, trying to find a few sticks to make a fire. Oh, sorry, just choosing my festive watching. So, Wenceslas sees this guy outside and he's got a few options. He could just close the curtains and pretend nothing's happening. He could issue a decree or an edict that everyone should look after the poor people. He could send one of his servants, a page or two, out to go and help him. But instead, the king himself decides to get up off his throne and head out into the cold, the bitter, icy cold, and go and help this guy. So he says to his page, get some meat, get some drink, get some dry wood for the fire, and they head off together through the horrible winter weather. But there's a problem along the way. The page is struggling. I can't go any further. It's freezing. I don't know where I'm going. I can't do this. It's too hard. Wow, that guy can act. My word. So, the king's response, the page is struggling. What does he do? Does he turn back? Does he say they'll wait for better weather? No. He's so focused on meeting the need of the peasant that they press on. But his solution is an interesting one. He's gone out barefoot, and his solution is to tell the page to stick even closer to him, follow him directly, and actually place your feet in my footprints. And what the song says is that there is warmth in those footprints because his feet have already laid in those footprints and warmed them up. So they carry on their journey, and we never actually hear in the carol what happens at the end, but we can probably get an idea. I mean, imagine you are the peasant, and there's a king who cares so much about you personally that he battles his way through the most unpleasant conditions to come and meet you and meet your needs. He goes through pain and suffering to bring you exactly what you need. How would you respond? Would you respond like this? Oh, it's very kind of you, but I'm okay, honestly. I've had a couple of sticks and I've got half a turnip to see me through to New Year, but thanks anyway. All right, bye. John 1, we've just heard that reading. It says this in verse 10. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognise him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. It's mad, isn't it? King Jesus comes to meet our every need, and yet so often we say, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm all right. I want to suggest that as we really focus in at this time of year on the arrival of King Jesus, we need to adopt the humble heart of that peasant. We saw a video earlier where there was a bear, and the bear was at his most happy and most comfortable when he was wrapped up and covered up, and no one could see him for who he really was. No one could see his flaws. No one could see the ways in which he wasn't perfect. And yet, it was once he was actually taken hold of, loved and cared for by a new owner, fixed up and made right, that he found fullness and completeness. It's the same with us. We have flaws, we have mistakes. We live, it says in the song, we pine in sin and error. But very often we want to hide that up and present the best versions of ourselves. I mean, let's face it, at Christmas clothes, hey, we even get Christmas pyjamas, because at Christmas we want to look our best and be our best, wrapped up, on show. But Jesus comes to meet our every need. When he comes, he wants us to be just as we are. He comes to us and he wants us to receive him as he comes to us. When we come to God with a peasant's heart, Jesus meets our every need. Salvation, peace, joy, freedom. And then he calls us to walk his way with him. We saw the page struggling. It's not an easy way to walk with Jesus. It can be hard. It can be tough. We can feel like giving up, and maybe there's an easier way. In John 8, verse 12, it says, Jesus tells us that he is the light of the world, and that whoever follows him will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So as we walk closely with Jesus, as we walk ever closer, as we plant our feet in his footprints, we receive his light. We receive his life. So may we have the heart of the peasant, willing to receive, but may we have the spirit of the page, ready to admit that we're struggling, that we find it hard and it's difficult, but also ready to submit and follow and be obedient, and to follow him ever closer, walking in the warmth of King Jesus' footsteps.